All right, guys, how's it going? Now, if you're watching this video before 1 o'clock UK time, that's when I will be live on here today if you want to come along for a natter. I do a stream in an afternoon, usually on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 1. All right, so if you miss it today, then I'll see you on one of those days, all right? I try to do an evening stream, but at the minute I'm very, very busy with some things, and I'm not getting much time to myself. So I'm not sure there'll be one tonight, but if you see this video before 1, come along today and we'll have a natter. Right. And don't forget, my morning briefings are on my other YouTube channel. The link is in the video description, and it'll also pop up on the screen at the end. My beautiful face with a lovely tan. You'll see it in a little round circle. How are you doing? All right. Right, we're going to be talking about Dean Huijsen in this video. He's been described by people at the club as a Liverpool interest. How many times do we hear things like that? Nothing comes of it. I'm going to give listen, every time I talk about Dean Huijsen, I give my opinion on the situation, and obviously people are going to tell you about Real Madrid's interest, other clubs, etc., etc. So no doubt I'll go over that at some point in this video. But I'm going to focus on what's actually mentioned in the Spanish press today. Now, every day I review the Spanish football dailies, 4 of them. I've done that video already, so I touch on this in summary. Like a brief version, but I didn't want to make that video too long, so I break it up sometimes, and Huijsen's getting his own video today. Trent got one before this, just so that you can pick and choose what you want to watch, because you might not be interested. Now, before we get into the contents here, what's been written today about him, and Liverpool I mentioned, I want to just show you this. It's called a post now. It used to be called tweets. You can probably see it on your screen there. Sorry for my phone's a bit dirty, but it's Watch LFC. I'll read it to you. If you still pause it, you'll see what I'm reading is accurate. Anyone telling you Liverpool are signing Dean Huijsen is a confirmed fraud. That's not very nice, is it? If you actually had #sources, you'd know that he's already travelled to Madrid, met their hierarchy, and will be signing with them as soon as possible. Now, the irony in this is that they're trying to warn you not to believe confirmed frauds or whatever because of misinformation. They're spreading misinformation in the opinion of this account holder, but they're actually spreading misinformation themselves in that post, right? So what I can tell you about this is, if you follow my Spanish daily reviews or whatever, you will know that what that relates to there about meeting the hierarchy was actually some time ago, and it was more to do with his father and what his father wants for his son, and his father, big Real Madrid, affection or whatever. And Huijsen obviously would love to go and play for Real Madrid. So this is kind of like incorrect, incorrect, right? So I'm not saying that they're deliberately trying to mislead you, but there's some irony in that post, right? So anyone telling you that Liverpool are signing Dean Huijsen is a confirmed fraud. Well, yeah, Liverpool are not signing Dean Huijsen as it stands, but nobody knows what's going to happen with him. People can only assume that he's going to go to Real Madrid, and we're going to be talking about that in this video, all right? And I've spoke about this many, many times, right? So yeah, anyone that's telling you that Dean Huijsen is signing for Liverpool would be wrong, in my opinion. So they're kind of right with that. But when they talk about travelling to Madrid, met their hierarchy, this is something from quite a while ago, which you will know if you follow my daily videos, because we discussed that ages ago, didn't we? And the other thing was, he will be signing with them as soon as possible. Nobody knows that, right? That they're making that as a statement. So there's a bit of irony in the post. I saw it earlier, and I'm not having a go at the account, because they're, maybe they're posting with the best of intentions, but they're not right. So you guys that follow my account, you've heard all of what's anyway. I had to tell you that, because sometimes people believe as gospel what these people say. Right, now let's have a look. We're going to be talking about Huijsen. I've got my notes here. I think this is an interesting video. Well, I might make a complete fucking mess of it. But the stuff I read today, I found of interest, and I hope you do too. I'll try my very best for you. Huijsen shakes up Real Madrid plans, basically. Now, there is a couple of articles that we're going to look at. We've got one by Marca and one by AS. This is the AS one, which we're going to do second, okay? I'm going to go to the first one by Marca, which was an opinion piece I think it was on the back page of Marca from memory, and it was penned by Chema Ray. Okay, and this is what I've got for you, and it was talking about the two games in the UEFA Nations League. You know, Netherlands and Spain. Obviously, Huijsen was born in the Netherlands, debuted against his own country, his birth country, in the fucking Netherlands for Spain. He moved to Spain when he was 5. He considers himself Spanish. He's Spanish. He wants to play for a Spanish club one day. And he debuted for Spain against the Netherlands. He played in those 2 games. I went to the second leg at Valencia, and he was outstanding. He was fucking phenomenal. Honestly, guys, it was amazing. And you think about how many boos. Every time he touched the ball, he was harassed. He looked like he'd been a veteran defender. He looked like he'd been there for years. And I had very good seats at the Mestalla, so I was right behind the goal, high up, looking right down. It was like watching someone play FIFA. It was immaculate. And his positioning was great. His defending was great. When he went forward, he was like an attacking midfielder. He was pinging balls around like Jan Molby back in the day. He was fucking great, man. Honestly, he was really good. And we spoke about him many, many times, but maybe some people don't know much about him. Now, but he got the call up through luck, really, because he wasn't named in the initial Spain squad, as Rafa Benitez would say, squad, for sure. He wasn't named. He was called up through injury. And there was a couple of injuries. So he shouldn't really have played in that game. And in here, so the journalist was started with about like how it was looked that he was called up, right? But we're going to start from this bit. And he says, as a result of those 2 matches, Huijsen has shaken up Real Madrid's transfer plans. It's not that the club have only just discovered him. Far from it. They've been tracking him for over 5 years, ever since he visited Valdebebas with his dad as a youth player, right? Valdebebas is Real Madrid HQ. Now, for 5 years, when he visited as a youth player, and you see that post I mentioned from X earlier, making out that it was recent. Come on, guys. Right? So, but back then, Juventus made the stronger move for the lanky youngster. In fact, he was already one of the 3 names highlighted by Huni Calafat, all right, who is a Real Madrid chief scout, okay, to strengthen the art of the defence. I didn't know he was a chief scout, but I did my research when I was in the cafe this morning, drinking a coffee that you guys supported my channel through the thingy-majiggy, and I was able to get myself some coffee this morning. Didn't have a breakfast, though. I fucking didn't. I didn't. The thing is, Madrid originally had plans to sign a centre-back in the summer of 2026. Again, if you follow my morning briefings, you will know this. This is what I've been saying, right? So they're backing that up when the contracts of Alaba and Rudiger expire. But Huijsen's performance in a high-stakes knockout tie, which we just spoke about, combined with strong interest from several Premier League clubs led by Chelsea, but also including Liverpool, United and Newcastle, has convinced Los Blancos to accelerate the move to avoid losing him like they did with Lenny Yoro last summer. Now, the Chelsea interest, I've only seen mentioned from yesterday. It surfaced yesterday from memory, and that was in one of the Barcelona newspapers, which is strange. But for some reason, Chelsea have been pushed as having a strong interest in him, and I'm not really sure where that's coming from, or why we're being told that. You know, who's putting that out there? Very, very interesting. But anyway, it mentions Liverpool, as you know. Now, it says here, after all, you know, Bournemouth has known for months that they won't be able to hold on to such a... Actually, it says the manager there has known for months that Bournemouth won't be able to hold on to such a gem for much longer. A 19-year-old who's already established himself as one of the top defenders in the Premier League. So is Huijsen going to sign for Madrid? That post I showed you earlier, that account said he's almost there, right? Now, this journalist says it's possible and even likely because both sides want the deal. I would agree with that. This is an opinion I think that we've gone with when talking about him, right, guys? Now it's about finding middle ground between his €60 million release clause and what Florentino Perez, that's the president of Real Madrid, is actually willing to pay for a defender who's caught his eye. All right? Now, I've said this to you. Now, previously, I said to you, and this information has come from, I I can't say a friend. I don't like using the word sources, right? Because I always feel like a fucking teenager. Yeah, I've got my sources. You know what I mean? So I'm going to use the word contact because I can't call them a friend because I haven't known them very long and we've only just started communicating, right? And this contact is a Real Madrid journalist, works for Marca, and there's just some people that I'm speaking to at the minute. Because of doing this stuff for you on these Spanish reviews each day, I've started talking to some different people in Spain, right? And it was said to me a couple of days, I think it was a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday, day before, I can't remember. I was told, and go and watch the video, it'll be there, that as much as Real Madrid want him, they were looking at doing something in 2026, but they might have to move now this summer because they could lose him to someone, although I think the player might sit tight for a year if he thinks he's going to get a move to Real Madrid. But the thing that was said to me was Real Madrid won't want to pay that £50 million release clause. That's 60 million euros, right? If they could get him cheaper, like 30 million, 40, whatever, I'm speculating. But the suggestion was that Real Madrid, they don't want to pay that release clause. Yeah? And I think that's important. And it's backed up because it is mentioned. I mentioned this the other day, and it's mentioned in this article here. And they need some middle ground, basically. That's what the suggestion is. That's why Glenn Hussein, that's why Huijsen will need another stroke of luck and to bet on White. That's talking about because he had luck getting called up because of the injuries. So forget that a minute. So I've made some notes here. This journalist here, his opinion backs up what I've been saying. One, Real Madrid don't want to recruit a centre-back now, but next year. Two, Real Madrid may be forced to move now due to other clubs, although I think Huijsen would be willing to wait a year. And three, Real Madrid do not want to pay the full release clause, which is what I told you yesterday, I believe I've got here in my notes. So before I go on to the second article, which also we're going to talk about Virgil van Dijk, Before I go on to the second one, what was I going to fucking say? It's so much information swimming around my head. Oh, what I'm going to say, and this has been my opinion from the start, right? That everyone expects him, right? And it's lazy. These people on social media, the British press, it's lazy to say he's signing for Real Madrid. It's because they think Real Madrid, they get who they want. The kid's Spanish, technically. He wants to go there, which he would want to go there. His dad's a big Madridista, whatever the fuck they call him. It's just lazy because they don't do the groundwork, they don't do the research, they don't analyse things. And what you've got to look at it like this is, it's there in black and white in the press today, all right, in a Madrid-based newspaper. It's already been said to me from someone that I consider very highly regarded and respected covering Real Madrid. Real Madrid do not want to pay 60 million euros for Huijsen, right? And they want a defender next year, not this. Now, if they can negotiate the transfer fee down, away from that release clause, they will sign Huijsen, right? Bournemouth, if you were Bournemouth, would you negotiate it down? Would you fuck? You know what I mean? This player is going to be worth far more than that. Double that, I'm telling you, right? This kid's going to be fucking phenomenal, right? And, so Real Madrid have to make a decision. Wait and see what happens next year and hope no one goes in for him. Pay the 60 million euros, the 50 million pounds now and just have it done. Or walk away altogether. Now, Real Madrid have just got Asensio that's come through not so long ago. Fantastic, as Brendan Rodgers would say, fantastic. Brilliant centre-back. Renewing, extending his contract now. They've got other centre-backs coming through. It's not a position of urgency, but because he's so special, and because he is technically Spanish, they've got that family connection and everything, maybe they have to move. The reason I'm telling you all this is don't just assume he's going to Real Madrid. They can write, we're going to sign him, they're going to do that, people online, whatever. Real Madrid are going to go, look, we've got a budget to go to, you know what I mean? So don't just think that Real Madrid are going to spunk money everywhere, right? That's my video flagged. I suspect he will go to Real Madrid, because Real Madrid would be stupid not to sign him, right? But the reason I'm telling you this is because if Real Madrid don't pay that release clause this summer, there is a threat that they will lose into someone else. And the Spanish media has been saying this. The Madrid-based media have been saying this because there are other clubs that are interested in him. The thing is, this isn't a normal situation for the player. Oh, well, if they don't want me, I'll go and play for Liverpool or Chelsea or whoever, right? Because this boy, you know, he wants to play in Spain. He's already admitted that. You will know that from a couple of weeks ago when we went through an interview he did before they all started banging on about him. He wants to play in Spain one day. Do we, Liverpool, really want to go for a player that you know at some point is going to be looking to move anywhere? Although, you know, Alexis McAllister feels the same, right? So, if you were Huijsen, would you sign for another club this summer if they came in for you, triggered the release clause ahead of Real Madrid moving for you? Or would you be like communicating with Real Madrid via your agent, via your father, saying, you know, next year, all right, we'll sit tight for another year and we'll come to you then. But the same release clause, I think, would be in place. But maybe they would be willing to pay that then because they need him then. So I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of this. What I'm trying to say to you is, in simple terms, is if Real Madrid move for him this summer, he goes to Real Madrid. There's no doubt about it, providing they agree a fee, all right? If Real Madrid decide to gamble and leave him, that opens the door for Liverpool and anybody else to try and sign him. But if you want to play in Spain for Real Madrid, do you go and sign for Chelsea? Don't know. I think it's a non-starter for Liverpool because the other side of it, of course, is even if he was up for a move to Liverpool, would our glorious owners pay £50 million for a 19-year-old centre-back? You at that point said no, and I also feel the same. Why is that? Because they manage our expectations, and when they bought the club and I went to Boston, what did I tell you when I came back before anyone had a problem with them? Well, they've said they're all right, they'll do the best, but they'll manage your expectations. So, anyway, let's continue. You know, I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm not doing a very good job. So, the second article is this one. And that is the White Senate blesses Huijsen. Yes. See, my Spanish is good, but I just had to check my notes. Now, this is by a chap called David Alonso. Okay. And he writes as follows. He's the man of the moment. Dean Huijsen has stepped out from the shadows and into the centre of Europe's footballing shop window, lit up by neon lights. His flawless debut for the senior national team has convinced those who've barely seen him and surprised those who didn't even know where he played. For those who followed him for a while, it simply confirmed what they already believed. This isn't just a promising talent, he's already becoming the real deal. Pun intended, I think. Back in December, AS broke the news that Real Madrid were interested in him. Now we've brought together a panel of Madrid legends, a sort of white senate, to weigh in on whether the club should seriously go after him. The verdict? A majority have given a resounding thumbs up. Oh, I would rather know that at the end, wouldn't you? Thumbs up. Have you thumbs up? I'm not continuing unless you thumbs up. I'm not. Thanks. Right. Rafa Alcorta, a man with an impressive CV as a central defender and vast experience as a sporting director, was full of praise. He's got an incredible amount of personality for someone so young. He kept his cool despite the whistles in the Netherlands. He got more than whistles. That says a lot. Technically, he's very calm on the ball and gives his teammates confidence. He's fantastic, as Brendan Rodgers would say, with both feet and dominant in the air. The fact he's already settling into life in the Premier League at his age is a huge endorsement. And when asked whether Huijsen is ready for Real Madrid, Alcorta was cautiously optimistic. That's a big step. Representing the national team is one thing, and he's done brilliantly, but playing under pressure every weekend and midweek is a different beast. My take is that Madrid should keep a very close eye on him. He's got a massive future. I agree with that statement. Even in Saudi Arabia, the Huijsen effect is being felt. From Riyadh, Madridista legend Fernando Hierro, now sporting director at Al Nassr, also gave his blessing to the young defender who grew up idolising Sergio Ramos. He's a fantastic player. He has excellent physical and technical qualities. His performances for Spain have really raised his profile. What struck me most is the composure he shows on the ball and the confidence he displays facing any striker. Now, Quique Sanchez Flores, who once played at right back for Madrid and has managed Watford in 2 spells, offered a more reserved opinion. If you ask me today to pick between Van Dijk and Huijsen, I'd still take the Liverpool man. I thought that was interesting. But there's nearly a 14-year age gap between them. I can't say if he's Madrid ready. I haven't seen enough of him. But he's fresh, quick, 2-footed and passes well. He reminds me of Pau Torres in terms of physique and how he handles the ball. He left me with some doubts over his aggression. He looked a little nervous early on at the Mestalla, but that's understandable for a young lad making his senior debut. I don't remember seeing that. But just shy of his 20th birthday, the 1.97 million metre giant born in Amsterdam is on everyone's lips. Alvaro Benito, not a centre-back himself, but widely respected for his sharp analysis, had this to say. To start for Real Madrid, you've got to be one of the best in the world. Are you listening, Trent? That said, I'm not surprised he's been linked. He's full of class. He lacks experience, sure, but he's excellent on the ball, intelligent, carries it well, dominates in the air, plays smart, passes through the middle and long. Against Memphis, it wasn't as convinced with it against his anticipation. That must be, what's that? Is that translation error or something? I wasn't as convinced with his anticipation, but he's young and will improve. You rarely see someone so young in that position with such talent. His potential is exceptional. And if you had to name a president of that was the quote finish. And if you had to name a president of this white Senate, or even of La Roja, which is the Spanish national team, few would argue against Vicente del Bosque. Ever modest and measured, he didn't get carried away. Honestly, I have only seen him in them 2 games with Spain. He looks promising, and if the current coaching staff gave him a debut, there must be a reason. Bournemouth paid over 15 million euros for him, and his release clause is already hovering around 60 million euros. One thing's clear, plenty of clubs will come calling, but the signs, and perhaps even the romantic pull of the badge, suggest that if Real Madrid move decisively, they could land a centre-back to anchor the defence for the next decade. The ball, as ever, is at the Bernabeu's feet. Now, one moment, please. So, how's about that then? He's talking about the player. Of course, you fucking lunatic. Where's the quote? It's because... Oh, you fucking did. Yeah, anyway, he was talking about... dear. Right, so those are the articles in the Spanish football dailies today regarding Huijsen. I forgot his name then. I personally, I don't think we're as ambitious as Real Madrid, to be honest with you. So that is today's articles in the Spanish media regarding Huijsen. And I'll be honest with you, even if Real Madrid were not involved, even if there wasn't the Spanish connection and the desire to play in Spain and the desire to play for Real Madrid, I'm not sure Liverpool would be ambitious enough to sign a player of that calibre. But that's because my expectations are managed by the club, under this ownership and the way we operate. Whoever he goes on to play for, and I suspect it will be Real Madrid, I think he'll be there for a decade. What we have to do as a club is identify these players like Richard Hughes must have done at Bournemouth before they become these huge stars, you know. And I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of faith in our scouting department at the moment. You know, we're talking about being linked with Isak, you know. We seem to get linked with all these players when they're worth a fortune or something, but we don't seem to get linked with these players. You know, we don't seem to recruit players. We don't recruit players really before. You know, but sorry, let me rephrase that. We don't recruit players like maybe the Bournemouths, the Brightons, whatever. I know we've got some promising talent that we have recruited, and if it's not in the first team, I'm not really fucking interested about what's going on behind the scenes. I'll be honest with you, I'm not. And the reason I've got that attitude is, you know, I've been a Liverpool fan for many, many years. And for almost 30 years, and I'm 50, you know, I've been running KopTalk and writing, and you wouldn't believe how many stars of tomorrow we've signed and never seen again. So I'm very much like, look, when you break through in the first team, then we'll talk, right? So the scouting side of things with Liverpool is, I don't know if you would agree with me, it doesn't seem amazing, but maybe we're being unfair. And there's something else here. Maybe we shouldn't criticise Liverpool and Richard Hughes with this one, because Richard Hughes will know what this kid and his family is all about. He'll have the groundwork on that deal. I think it happened after he left. I'm not sure. I don't follow Bournemouth. But I think it was very close. And if that is the case, he will have the homework, the groundwork. He'll know about the players' desires, intentions, whether what the family's like, the representatives, you know, everything. And for all we know, internally, and I have to say this, right, because there'll be a lot of people, you know, they use every opportunity to bash the owners. I don't, even though I'm not fans of the owners. You know, they could have sat down internally and said, well, what do you reckon, Richard? Could we got a chance? He might have said, no chance, mate. He wants to go to Real Madrid. That's going to happen. So you just don't know. But I will continue to talk about him until his future's resolved, because he keeps being mentioned with Liverpool. He's mentioned in the article, you know, in the article today, Liverpool, are mentioned. So me touching on these things isn't to make you think it's going to happen. It's really for people that are interested to see what's being said and to see why as well Liverpool might not do certain deals. All right? And that's why I always say this channel's aimed for the grown-ups, because I think there are a lot of people out there that just want entertainment, you know, and fucking, you know what I mean, don't you guys? Anyway, I'm not sure if I've done a good enough video for you. At the end of all my videos, I always go, was that all right? So you'll have to let me know if you found the video of interest at all. If you're going to tell me, not interested in Huijsen, he's going to Real Madrid, it's done, it's going to be done, whatever, don't, right? Because his name's in the title of the video. If you're not interested in Huijsen, please just don't watch the videos, guess what, about Huijsen. Until his future's resolved, I'll continue to keep an eye on him. And also, you know, on a personal level, as a football supporter, I think he's a very good player, and I'd like to see what happens next in his career. All right, I'll leave it with you. I've got to go because I'm going to be live on here soon. Sorry, clear that message. I've got to be live on here soon, so I need to get moving. If you appreciate the video, at least, you know, my effort, please thumbs up the video. It doesn't mean you agree with me. Please drop me a comment. If you want to buy me a coffee or a beer at weekends here, hit that fucking love heart and that super heart. What's it called? Super thanks button, the love heart under the video. It pisses my haters off as well. And if you do that, I always give people a shout out that do that on my other YouTube channel in the morning briefings that I do. All right, guys, I do have another video for you, which I'll do after the live stream. That's going to be a review of what's in the British press today regarding Liverpool. There's a few things that I've bookmarked for you, so you might find that of interest too. There's not going to be you're never going to get anything that you don't already know when I do those videos, I don't think, but you get me reviewing them and passing opinion and stuff like that, and I'm sure that some of you are here because you're interested in what I have to say. All right, guys, I'll leave it with you. Take care. Cheers.